Ross, what is going on, man? Happy Wednesday. Happy hump day. How are you doing, sir?
I'm good, man. I went to my first Laker game last night in a year, and we won in overtime. And it was just so good to be back at Staples Center with crowds. Well, small crowd, but getting this life back here in LA is just. I'm so bullish. It's awesome.
I love it. I love it. Yeah, I don't know how much you can see behind me, but I'm sitting here in beautiful Detroit, Michigan. We've got some activity. Last summer I was like the only one out here. I felt like Will Smith and I Am Legend, just like walking around by myself. But we're coming back, so yeah.
Yeah. Well, you guys got hit pretty hard recently, so hang in there and get your vaccines because that stuff works, and that's why we're out partying I've been partying every night. I mean, I'm exhausted. It's so much fun right now.
Yes, I love it. But the market, not as much fun on a day like today.
Not today.
Right? I mean, today's a little bit brutal. I'm looking at SPY right now. We're down about 1.7%.
Right.
Obviously a tough day. You know, how do you think about days like today, weeks like this week, etc.?
It's such a tough day. You know, I'm crying my eyes out. The S&P up 9% for the year. I just posted the S&P up 45% over the last 12 months. We had a pandemic a year ago, a bear market, 35% bear market. I thought this country was going to go down the tubes, and we created a new policy in America. It's called print. You can't have a recession. Recessions are illegal in this country now. The Federal Reserve has no restraint. Anybody who thinks that the stock market is going down for any long period of time is missing the boat here, because this is a huge opportunity to just add to your positions as we begin the roaring 20s. I mean, this is the beginning of a big move over the next several years for businesses in America, all kinds of businesses, small and large. Inflation is a great sign. I don't understand why people are upset that in this country prices are going up and wages are going up and people have the opportunity to get their businesses back and even be better than they were before. I met with a restaurant owner yesterday who's like, my sales are now higher than 2019. He made it through the pandemic. They're hiring. You know, the market's 21 PE. It's going to come down sometimes.
Yep. Okay. All right. It's time to go. You're bringing the energy. Air horn on that one. Lighten it up. Yes. I love it.
Well, you got an air horn, so I'm kind of jealous.
We'll get you on. Don't worry. I mean, we have like a lot of sounds here. You know, I don't know. We got.
What the fuck is that?
Yeah, I don't know. we got a lot of sounds here.
That's
okay?
a good one.
We like to have some fun on this show.
That's why I like the show.
Good. But all right. So you're talking about today as you know, a buying opportunity. I don't know if you have any individual stocks that you want to talk about that you think are especially interesting.
Well, you know, when Tesla gets below 600, when Tesla gets below 600, I buy it. You know, so that's my game with Tesla. You know, we're large Tesla investors. I think Tesla is the most incredible opportunity for investors over the next decade. And I don't wish to debate it with anybody, because if you don't get it at this point, then I'm not convincing you. You know what I mean? It's so clear the genius of Elon Musk and what's about to come over the next 5 years with Tesla, or 10 years, that if the stock's going to trade below 600, we're going to be a buyer. Investors have to have the stock in their portfolio. Yeah, it's higher risk, but when you look at the future, Tesla is the future. And I think to be able to add core tech positions at a reasonable price in a correction is a great opportunity for investors.
Okay. And SNL, Saturday Night Live, thumbs up, thumbs down. Any opinions on that?
I mean, I thought it was great. I mean, I just read that Grimes had a nervous breakdown after the show because he was so nervous, and it's super hard to do comedy. I don't know if you've ever tried, but I give Elon credit for just being a marketing genius. You know, and that's what it really is. It's an ad for Tesla, and he knows what he's doing, and he did a great job with the ad. Some of the skits were hysterical. You know, it's hit and miss. That's Saturday Night Live, but boy, that Mars one at the end was classic. But, you know, so Tesla's doing amazing things. And I think when you look out 6 months from now with the car chip shortage, I mean, there's just a car shortage right now. People want to buy cars. Now we've got a gas shortage. So you've got people who own ICE vehicles can't buy an ICE vehicle because there's very few for sale. And then now they're waiting in lines for gas like it's the 70s again. How many signs do you need to move into the new future, which is EVs? And so if you're not driving an EV, you're missing out on saving a lot of money every week on gas and repairs and other things. So the Tesla value proposition just becomes more and more relevant as time goes on.
All right, and let me ask you about this one. It's coming from the chat, but ticker FUV Arcimoto.
Right.
We've had them on the show several times. Awesome friends of Benzinga over there. Is that one you've taken a look at before?
Yeah. So we bought a little of FUV, and then like I did a show, and then the stock went crazy. So we never actually bought a lot of it, and now it's gone down a lot. And so we stopped out of it, I don't know. It was a small position. So we stopped out of it in the teens. Now it's at like 8.5 or 9. And I think it's a tremendous opportunity for EV investors. I know Mark well, and I've read the accusations against him, and I think they're just absurd. This is an honest guy, hardworking guy with a dream to build a great business here in Oregon. It's a U.S. business. But the bottom line is FUV is an early stage company. And it's really, really important that people understand that this has to be a long-term investment for people. So now you've got short interest. So the stock should be trading about 16, 17, where I think it's worth and what we originally looked at it at. But because short sellers have sold 8 million shares short, the stock's down here at 9, and it's all artificial selling. It's not actual and real investors. So it's a huge opportunity. Now we haven't jumped in yet because right now the sentiment is pretty bad, and we think we might get even cheaper prices. But I think you have to look at FUV as a long-term investment because the factory really isn't going to be fully producing anything for another year. So they're making a certain amount of FUVs a day. I think it's like 4. And, right now they're looking at a couple very interesting opportunities for FUV, like in the rental market in Hawaii. But I have every confidence that once they get production going, this is going to be a very successful company. But I don't think it's a short-term investment.
Yep. Yeah. And that factory. So we had Mark on, I think that the day after that, they actually closed on that. It's a massive expansion for them.
But I've been driving FUVs, like I'm one of the
you have?
Oh yeah.
Wait, what?
Yeah. So FUV has an office here in Venice, and because I'm friends with Mark, he's let me have a FUV now twice. So he brought a bunch of FUVs by the other day, the new Roadster one that's like, there's no top. It's like a motorcycle kind of. And it was so much fun. Like I've never really ridden motorcycles in my life because I'm, I don't want to die. And so like, we just were having such a good time with these things. And I was like, these things should be, you need a rental model. You need to put these in Hawaii and Florida and Southern California, anywhere where there's a beach community.
Detroit, Michigan, we're an exception. Okay.
Yeah. Michigan, I think it's great for the rental model as far as, for the delivery model, like the Deliverator for Uber Eats and things like that. But your cost of operation is super low. These things are fast too. It's not like a golf cart in any way. This is more like a motorcycle. And so it's super fun. I love the vehicles. They need a little work, and that's what they're doing now is making the performance better of the vehicles, adding technology to the vehicles. We're talking about getting the kind of technology that like Bird scooters have in them. So you could just like put them on Turo. And then ultimately with full self-driving, the thing could just come to you when you rent it. So I think it's an early stage investment. When we do get back in the stock, which we will take a position of size, and I'm hoping it just gets cheaper because I can buy more of the company. So, for us, it's not a timely investment like anything big is going to happen in the next 6 months. But I think when you look out to 2022, that's when the story gets interesting.
Yeah, and when you're talking about the full self-driving, my mind goes to some last mile maybe, delivery, etc. I think they could be super interesting for the company there.
Yeah, if you're an Uber driver, you want to maximize your profits. You should be driving an electric vehicle already. But then secondly, the cost of this one is so low relative to a car. And for cities, it's like super effective for transportation of smaller items like food and packages and stuff. So I kind of see that as being also a great vehicle for emerging markets or Europe, where there's not a lot of space for cars in a European city. So this is also a great solution for the dense cities.
Yep. One more I want to ask about if you have any comments on it. Roblox. We just had earnings this week. Hot stock, new issue. Anything you can share there?
Well, Roblox is a stock that I pray goes down so I can buy more because the valuation is really high.
But I love this.
No, I mean, I love the company. I own, like, I bought a little bit, like, because I don't like buying IPOs, like at the high kind of stuff. And so, like, it pulled back a little bit, and I bought a little bit, and I've been learning a lot about the company, and my kids use it, and I've been playing it and using it, and I've decided it's the YouTube of gaming, and it's so much bigger than just being a video game company. It's a platform for building and playing games, and it's a platform for creators, but it's a social media platform for kids that's safe. Now here, Facebook's like, I want to make Instagram for kids because we want to destroy more lives, and like the states are like, no, like you've already sold the cigarettes to the teenagers and everybody else. You're not going to sell the cigarettes to the kids. And when you go on Roblox, your kids generally have a very positive experience on the social part of that platform. And so most games for kids like Minecraft don't have a social element that's easy to use. But one of the reasons my kids play this nonstop is how easy it is for them to connect with their friends. And this is an 8-year-old and a 5-year-old. So, I'm not talking about teenagers. And they're connecting with their friends and they're playing for hours. And I'm spending money on this thing. And I say no to most video games they want to buy because they go from like game to game, But I've been spending money on Roblox. They get their allowance now in Robux. And
okay, that's awesome.
Yeah, but that's all they want. But they'll play these games, for a long period of time versus the Apple games where they'll play for like 5 minutes and there's all these crappy ads. So that was the other thing. There's no ads on the platform, and that makes a parent very happy because what they sell your kids in the ads on YouTube and, on the other platforms like Apple is like garbage games and violence and, this and that. So I think Roblox has an incredible future, just an incredible future as a company. We're big in the gaming industry, so I own a lot of gaming stocks. I want to add this one. I want to pull back. I own a little bit, but I would add this stock on any weakness.
Yes, I love your conviction that you take in these names.
Think about all the bad stuff.
You're like, I want it to go down so I can get more. Like I'm not that confident as a human being. If I made it even just a little bit, I'm like, keep going up.
I'm older than you. I've been doing this for my whole life and now 28 years coming next month as a pro. And I can tell you this, okay? Investing isn't that hard, okay? It's the day-to-day that you're looking at your portfolio values and you get all freaked out because you lost 2% today. That view is very unhealthy for your returns. The best thing you can do with investing is nothing. Okay. So it's like, if you can find a great company like Roblox or Microsoft or, Apple or Tesla, and you look at the other 500 companies in the S&P. So if you put a list of 500 companies in the S&P, I'd say 450 of them are garbage. I don't want anything to do with them. You know what I mean? So it's like, when you have these good companies, the game is just being able to accumulate them at the right prices and then just hold them for the rest of your life. So I don't know how old you are. Maybe you're in your 30s or something. And it's like, you think I'm 50 and let's say you're 30. In 20 years, where is the world going to be? We don't know, but I can tell you what will definitely be is we'll be leading with technology. We'll be leading in the technology. And that's the whole ARC innovation argument. Oh, it's down 30%. I'm like, no, it's up like 80% from last year or whatever. And I'm like, you have to think long-term as an investor. Now, she's a super aggressive investor. I get that. But like, markets are going to go down really badly when things are bad in this country. Okay.
Yep.
But when things are getting really good in this country, the only thing you have to worry about is being in the right investments, not whether or not you should be investing. So over the long term, I can tell you stories about the 90s and this and that. Every decade has its themes, but you want to be an investor. These are good times ahead. We have a much more competent government, lots of money out there, people wanting to pent up demand. I mean, this is going to be a great period of time. So people need to be less connected to their money in a way. Like They're like, oh, I'm up. Oh, I'm down. Oh, I'm up. My Doge's up. I'm like, dude, don't worry about your prices every day. Look for opportunities in the stock market. Buy those stocks when it's painful. Okay. And don't worry, that strategy works. It just does.
Yes. And that's what we need on a day like today, too. You know, when we're all SPY's down 2%, I guarantee our audience is down 4%, right?
I mean, I'm probably down
the
30 million. So how bad is it for you? You know what I mean? It's like, I'm down 30 million. How much are you down? Do I look scared? No, I'm going to go after this show and I'm going to buy stocks. I got 66 million in cash. So it's like, it's coming in like crazy. The cash is coming in. I see the money. So people have money. They're buying stocks. They're buying crypto, and it's not going to stop.
Yeah. So takeaway from that is, when I have a day, I'm down 10 grand. But you know, let it.
You get used to it.
You
get used to it.
Well, awesome, Ross. I appreciate you coming on, hanging out with us. I'm jealous you've gotten to drive the Arcimoto vehicle.
It's fun.
And don't worry, we will get you an air horn.
Yeah, give me an air horn, and happy to come back. Thanks for having me on. I appreciate it. Cool. I do love your show, and I do follow you on YouTube, so I appreciate it.
Awesome, Ross. Appreciate it. Dropping the ideas today, bringing the energy. We would absolutely love to have you back.